You know what I was thinking about the other day? I was thinking about all the hacks that I used to engage in to try and optimize my life and my body, and how, as I've made these dramatic, really impactful, really good changes in my life that align with where I am now, I'm no longer hacking things. I'm actually just letting the processes take the time that they take. So I thought I would talk about how the trend for optimizing everything in life is slowly, or maybe medium speed, disappearing. That we're just in a different place than where we were 5 years ago. And I want to give you permission and maybe a place to consider that your attempt to hack is actually slowing your progress. So, what am I even talking about? One of the trends that I can remember, or maybe just a practice, was working out 5 days a week, 6 days a week, having at least 2 days or 3 days of cardio and lifting heavy all the time, and just, being at max capacity all the time. Now, maybe part of this is also that I'm getting older, and so my body just can't handle what it used to, but that's also information. Now I have changed my workouts around. So I was going to the gym 3 days a week in the spring, but now I am going to Pilates, reformer Pilates, and I'm going 2 days a week. And then I am going to dance class 1 day a week because I really enjoy it. And that seems to be doing more for my general health, how my back feels, and my mental health than a 5 day a week workout ever did before. Or at least it's treating me better than a 5 day a week workout would do right now. And so more isn't always better. Sometimes, especially when you are trying to make sure that your internal safety mechanism, like your nervous system, is at ease, sometimes it requires you to actually do less instead of trying to add so much onto your plate that you're not even giving yourself space to just breathe and to just be. So, this also occurs in life in general, where I used to be everywhere, doing everything on this committee, showing up at this party, going to this dinner, doing this thing and that thing. And I kept showing up, and part of me wanted to, but the other part of me also felt like I needed to. And now I'm really listening to what actually feels good in my body. There was someone who was coming to town to visit. We had a little bit of miscommunication on the time, and I thought that we would have more time to try and connect. By the time I would be free, it would be at the end of a day of working most of the day. And then the next day, we could meet in the morning. But I also knew that I had to work the following afternoon. And because sleep does not come easily to me, I really try to protect my mornings so that even when I don't sleep very much, that I can just have the space in the mornings. 5 years ago, I probably would have accommodated the other person's schedule before I accommodated my own schedule and took care of myself, because I would have thought that more was better, that I needed to show up to brunch, I needed to do this and do that because that's what was expected of me. But now I really, really enjoy the power of less. I really, really enjoy the power of having more space in my schedule and having fewer things on my plate. So, in your life, whether it is in workouts or in your commitments and obligations to yourself, to other people, at work, in your house, where can you do less and actually give yourself more in terms of space, peace of mind, and that kind of thing? Another thing that is out for me that I used to really love is my smartwatch. And I actually really loved my smartwatch because I would get almost obsessive about calculating how much sleep I got. I would look at the steps that I took and have a step goal, which is can be a healthy thing until it becomes obsessive. I liked it because I like to have my ringer off on my phone and it would just buzz on my wrist and so it would be feel less disruptive even though my wrist was always buzzing. Child, when I went on vacation to Sao Tome in May, do you know that that watch just split open? Like the face just came off of the back. And I'm looking at it right now across the room because it will still charge and it will still tell time, but the face just keeps coming off. And so I took it off in Sao Tome and haven't put it back on. When I got back, I looked up how can I get the watch repaired, and I think it's just been too long now, so it's not covered anymore under the company's warranty. But what I'm surprised about is how much I don't miss it. I occasionally miss being able to look at my wrist and tell the time, but I realized that I was obsessing over the number of hours I was getting for sleep, but it wasn't actually changing the hours I was getting. I was just feeling disappointed when it would show me 5.5 or 6.5 instead of the 8 that I was trying to get to. I also realized that I don't miss missing phone calls. Occasionally, when it's a delivery and I'm like, oh, shoot, I forgot to turn my ringer on vibrate. But honestly, I don't miss it when I miss a phone call. I don't feel any kind of way. And I know that even if I miss the delivery guy, they're going to come back the next day and it's going to be okay. And so, this hack that I had on my wrist to give me health data and to keep me connected to my phone, not having that hack anymore actually feels like more peace. It actually feels more spacious. It actually feels more relaxed because I'm not hyper focused on any one aspect or metric of performance around my health and well being. Instead, I'm more focused on the global picture of how do I feel and what do I need now. So instead of hacking my nervous system, I'm really learning how to listen to my nervous system. Another thing that is no longer a trend that I really appreciate is trying to figure everything out on your own. There is all kinds of coaching, and I was a part of that as well, and like mindset based stuff and all this strategy. But I really think a lot of the mindset coaching is just BS. And I wrote about it and I talked about it and I sent an email about it because what I recognized was happening was that we were trying to hack our brains. We were trying to bypass the nervous system that is keeping us safe. But what ends up happening is oftentimes you can gaslight yourself or minimize the information that is available to you because you think it's in the way of where you're trying to get to. But now that I've stopped trying to hack my brain, that I've stopped trying to do so much self coaching and I have really just allowed myself to hear what my body needs. I've learned to listen to what it's telling me and then to address what it's telling me. It has been so much better. I don't have to undo or redo or do this mindset hacking so much because I'm just listening to what it's telling me. And when I can just listen to it and then address whatever the need is, it ends up happening so much faster than me trying to like hack my brain. I hope this is making sense. We're often trying to figure out what is the shortcut. The hack is the shortcut. And I remember my friend saying a long time ago, he said, every time I try to cut corners, I always end up going right back around those corners that I cut. And I thought, oh my God, that is so true. And I feel like that's exactly what is happening now in the wellness or the healing space is that we're moving away from the hacks. We're moving away from the shortcuts because really the quickest way to get to where you're going is to deal with the barriers or the obstacles that might be in front of you instead of trying to go all the way around them. So I just want to leave you with that today because you might be spending all of this time hacking trying to find a shortcut. But I think that if you dealt with what was coming up head on and have some support for you for dealing with it, then you'll probably get through it much more quickly and in a way that is actually creating something different for you so that you can really move, not in a way that is a shortcut where you're going to have to come back around that same corner that you cut again. This is how you really allow yourself to make lasting change, change that will be sustainable because you're working through your process instead of trying to shorten the process. It's like trying to figure out a faster way to make a biscuit. You gotta put the biscuit in the oven for as long as it takes. Now you may put different ingredients in the batter. You may put a little breath work here. You may do a little journaling there. You may call a friend over here. But the time that it takes is the time that it takes for the biscuit to rise. The time that you need to be with yourself, to calm yourself, to settle your nervous system is the time that it takes. And you just can't rush it. So sit with that, allow yourself the space that you need. Know that it is perfectly normal. Know that it is not a hack or that you are not losing time because the hacks are the corners and you're going to end up going back around those corners anyway. I promise you. So the fastest way to get there is just to take the time that it actually takes to do the thing that you want, to feel the way that you want to feel, to move in the direction that you're trying to go. All right. Let me know what you think about this episode. I will see you on Threads for our conversation at Asha Wilkerson ESQ. Please leave a comment, like, a review, and let me know what you think. I want to hear what you think, what hacks you've tried that you've actually given up that no longer work for you because you're in a different place or that never actually worked in the first place, but you gave it your best shot. All right. Ciao, ciao.